someone who's not friends or family who's watching this right now, I'll introduce myself. My name is Alexandra. I'm a second year bioengineering major, or I guess I just finished my second year at UCLA, and I'm here in Glasgow, Scotland for the UCEAP study abroad program. So it's basically a full year's worth of calculus-based physics in 1 year, and yeah, I'll be trying to vlog this whole time. It's my first time vlogging. All right. Bye.
So this is the dorm building we live in, or I guess apartment, dorm, the flats, and I'm in flat L, which is basically like a 5-bedroom apartment, but it's not really an apartment. Okay, so we have the 5 rooms in the hall here. Hi. So everyone shares one shower. Oh. One shower and one bathroom. Oh god. There's the bathroom. But the good thing is everyone has a single, which is very unusual at UCLA, and everyone gets their own sink here, so I can like brush my teeth, wash my face, put on my contacts here. Okay, it's kind of messy. Here's a closet that they gave us, storage space. This is the 1,500 pages of physics I have to master in a couple of months. Here's the bed. So I was just doing laundry. Here's the bed. Desk space. Space for clothes. And the view is super nice. Space for a flat and a common area. We got a fridge, stove. They gave us like silverware, knives, and cookingware. Hot water boiler. Yeah, all the basics. Freezer. So we did a meal plan for like during the week, and we have to cook for ourselves during the weekend. But honestly, it's good because the food that they gave us sucks.
Despite the really bad dining food, the University of Glasgow has a beautiful campus with really old architecture, and it was actually founded in 1451, super old, and it's a public research university, just like UCLA, and they have 4 colleges, which includes the College of Arts, Medical, Veterinary, and Life Sciences, College of Science and Engineering, and College of Social Sciences. And actually, from the TAs, I learned that if you live in Scotland, then you don't have to pay for tuition at all. You just pay for rent and you can get your education, which is amazing. The school also have really famous alumni such as Lord Kelvin and James Watt, for which the SI units Kelvin and Watt were named. So it's really incredible to be learning about the fundamentals of physics right where the innovation was happening back then. So the structure of the physics program is actually pretty rigid. It starts out at 10 a.m. every day, it ends at 5 p.m. and it starts out with a 30-minute walk from our flats through the park, the botanical garden, and through the streets of West End of Glasgow. The University of Glasgow is actually a commuter school, so I guess that explains why the dining was so bad. It's the first year they're doing it for the international students, and also why the dorms were so far away. So we had a lecture and labs in the sessions, and we also had like private go over practice problems together in small group sessions. So after 5 p.m, I would walk back to the flats through the botanical gardens again, and I would cook a lot of food, like a lot of food, just because the food was like basically airplane food here, and it just didn't make me feel good, and I found a lot of like relaxation in cooking. But honestly, after cooking on the weekday evenings at least, I would just come back to my room and study. So I'm gonna talk about the fun part of study abroad, which is what we did over the weekends.
Why are you cold?
It's too cold.
I think you need a shot.
Our program actually began on a Wednesday, so We had a good chunk of time before first day of class on Monday to go over program orientation and to kind of just get over jet lag. So we spent our very first weekend doing a small potluck dinner, and then we also went and explored the west end of Glasgow, specifically Ashton Lane, and went pub hopping and bar hopping. Sorry, mom and dad, we drank very responsibly. But in Europe, I feel like, or at least in Glasgow, the vibe was very classy. I feel like everyone's just like a lot more lax and chilled than it is in America, and there's live music everywhere, including this place where this guy sang Bohemian Rhapsody and everyone went wild. So that weekend, our physics professor, Dr. Yao, offered to bring all the physics students on, and I quote, an easy walk along Loch Lomond, but it wasn't easy at all. It was like an actual 10-mile trek, and no one was prepared for it.
I can't think right now, but I'm very tired.
We started where the lake was.
And even though all of us thought that the hardest part was done after climbing all those hills, it was actually even worse going back down, and so bad on the knees and everyone fell down, but it was still a memorable experience. We also got to try some traditional Scottish food like haggis and bratwurst, and since we were there over the summer, the days were super long, like the sun was set around 10 p.m. And I also got to explore the botanical gardens that we walked past every day on the way to class, and it was really, really beautiful.
It rains like every 2 seconds here, but then it's over in like 10 minutes. So we just took our first exam.
We just took our
How
first
do you
exam.
feel?
It's fine, whatever.
It's fine.
We're done. Pizza.
We're going to Paisanos.
Paisano.
Yeah.
Paisano.
Yeah, look how pretty the university is.
We took one exam a week for 8 weeks straight, so obviously we finished off our first exam and went straight into Prosecco and pizza at this local place called Paisanos that everyone recommended. We also got to try mead, which is like wine, but instead of fermented grapes, it's fermented honey, and it was super, super good. It was nice because we just got to truly relax and we didn't have to worry about learning the next week's content because they didn't release it until Andy got pooped on until Sunday, and we got to go out and explore nightlife. So there's this club called Mango which played like Hispanic music, and it was so much fun.
Really? There's a guy right there. I'm in awe right now.
We took a day trip to Edinburgh that weekend, which was just a short 1 hour, even less than an hour train ride away. And Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland, and it's also where J.K. Rowling wrote the Harry Potter series, and you could very easily tell that a lot of the culture and architecture in Harry Potter was based off of the city.
We're at Edinburgh Castle.
We're in Edinburgh Castle.
It's raining.
Hello.
The view's very pretty though.
Company's good. We're really loud.
We're so loud, dude.
Low-key ready to hit the hay.
Yeah, my feet hurt.
My feet really hurt. But overall, good day, and I
Good
feel like we
day.
did a lot of things in the food.
Good food.
Good food. Oh my god, I ate too much. What
I'm
did
so
we eat
full.
today?
We had really good brunch.
Oh yeah, that was the best. Best meal of the day.
We also had really good seafood.
Chowder.
Yeah.
I
But
had-
it was
yeah.
really expensive, so I just bought an appetizer.
I got soup and
It
I
was
got
a
fried
charcuterie
chicken.
They came to Edinburgh to have
KFC.
KFC.
Okay, low-key that's just kind of expensive, but it hit
Really?
the spot. Yeah. But
Now you're ready to hit
yeah.
the hay.
And we got cake.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god,
I
we
think
ate
that's
so
why I'm
much.
so-
We didn't drink any alcohol today though.
I had a sip of tiramisu alcohol. It was so good.
She's an alcoholic.
There's so many little things to appreciate about Glasgow, from the bubbles on the street to the bookstore to the rain and shopping at Topshop and the little stationery store and just the walks in the rain with everyone else.
That weekend, I visited the necropolis, which is essentially a really big graveyard in Glasgow, as well as the Glasgow Cathedral. And what I remember about that day was that it was the most calm and peaceful that I've been in years. The program included one long weekend, which I used to visit London to meet up with a couple of my friends from my high school who were also studying abroad in Europe that summer. And we saw the National Gallery and honestly a lot of other touristy things. I really liked London for its public transit, and in turn its air was super fresh, just like Glasgow. We also went to this place called Bolly Ballerson, which was like a bar but ball pit for adults all at once. It was really fun. I feel like I'm a Harry Potter. I'm peeing in a pot. Hi, friend. Yes. Good job. I feel like London was my favorite weekend out of my entire time abroad. It was just the food and the people and the culture. I definitely want to go back and visit again sometime soon. Then I was off to a short 1.5 day trip to Dublin, Ireland with the same 2 high school friends that I saw in London. Hello. Today I have learned I hate Guinness.
Don't say that too loudly in Ireland.
A cool find in Dublin was the church, which is an old church that they transformed into a bar, nightclub, restaurant. The 3 of us also visited St. Stephen's Green, which is a park right in the heart of Dublin, full of dogs and pigeons. We also visited the shopping center right next to it, as well as Dublin Castle, just a mile walk away. The back of the building was very colorful for some reason. And we also made a stop at the Museum of Contemporary Photography of Ireland. Dublin's actually a very small city geographically, but I'm still glad I had the opportunity to venture into Ireland at least once during my time abroad. Right after I came back from Dublin, we went on an excursion to Glasgow, which is a small village in the Scottish Highlands, and it was so beautiful. We got a really nice bus tour from a local called Gary.
And it's one of the main reasons why we absolutely love the country that we have here. I know it rains, and that sucks, but if it didn't rain, we wouldn't have whiskey. So there's always an upside to every downside. Welcome to Glencoe, guys. It almost looks like something you could see in like an old Tomb Raider game or Jurassic Park. The 3 mountains on your left hand side are known as the 3 sisters of Glencoe. I call them Betty, Joan and Agnes because I can't pronounce them. I think it's very hard to come on this tour and not feel inspired. You later on today, when we get off the bus, you'll feel so small and insignificant. It's a weird thing to say, but it's a great feeling because all your problems, all the things that are bugging you in life, all the stress of like cramming a physics course into 8 weeks just vanish. And for just a couple of minutes, you can have this kind of peace and serenity.
The Scottish Highlands are famous for its appearance in Skyfall, and also Glenfinnan has the famous Harry Potter bridge, so we had a really good time exploring that day. The next weekend, we tried to cram in as many activities as possible in Glasgow because one of my friends from my fraternity who was studying abroad in London was visiting. So we went to the Merchant City Festival and had incredible food. We went to the Calvin Grove Art Museum, which was much bigger than expected. I even had an organ performance. We visited a cat cafe called the Purple Cat Cafe. And lastly,
I want you out in the
oh yeah, we went out clubbing and drinking at the bars before going to a trip to Pollock County Park, which was huge and full of amazing buildings and beautiful gardens. And we also went out to eat at a really nice ramen place on Ashton Lane. And then we were off on another extremely long bus ride through the Scottish Highlands to see Loch Ness. And honestly, for this one, I think the views can speak for itself.
Boom, 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 boom. Why do we even need to go to the club?
I went on a short day trip to Ayr, which is a cute coastal beach town on the southwest coast of Scotland, just an hour train ride away from Glasgow. And I went with a friend from the program, and I think this trip was one of the best and most relaxing parts of my time abroad.
Oh my god, it's my face!
Oh my
Wait, how do I do it again?
You like.
The German country is going to start and burial destruida sur votre gauche.
It's a wedding! It's a wedding!
Oh! It's over.
I just finished it, so that better be in the vlog.
I'm very lucky and privileged to be here with my best friend.
Also, wine is the best. Highly recommend.
Yes.
And you should also sit by the Seine River and drink your wine. So.
Guys, Meghna just iced me.
It was really great.
My stomach is warm. honest, I haven't like vlogged in like this entire program because I don't like talking to the camera, but today is August 15th, so tomorrow's our final for electricity and magnetism, and then I fly back home on Saturday. So yeah, the program's wrapping up and I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what I've learned from it and like what I've gained from it. I really like it here in Glasgow. It's very fresh. The air is very fresh. I don't know how else to explain it. Like just every morning being able to walk through the botanical gardens on the way to class and back, just seeing all the flowers, all the dogs, oh my god, and all the couples and children just like sitting down on like grass having a picnic or like reading books. It just warms my heart. It's very like traditional, which I feel like America doesn't have that much. Like I very rarely see people utilizing the parks in America, and overall everyone in Glasgow is really kind and friendly, except if you're a pedestrian. If you're a pedestrian, the cars will want to run you over. That's what I've learned. But yeah, just in like the past 8 weeks I feel like I really fell in love with this country. It's just very beautiful. The scenery is beautiful, the people are nice. I like the weather. I mean, it's like more humid than California, but I like the weather. And yeah, I'm really grateful for this program. The physics that they taught us was a pretty fast pace. Like I can't imagine being able to do this all without having a prior physics knowledge, which a lot of my classmates and peers did. But yeah, I really liked it. I guess like if you have to learn all of mechanics and electricity and magnetism in 2 months, like it kind of has to be really fast-paced and overwhelming, but there's all the TAs are there to help you. Sorry, brain fart. Yeah, and I feel very grateful to have found like a very kind and empathetic group of people to spend my time with here. What else? Yeah, it's just nice because over here like my only worry is physics, and that's about it. Like that and cooking. And I know like in the quarter system I'm always just like overwhelmed with a lot of different tasks and stuff from multiple classes, from multiple extracurriculars, from like my job, and yeah, it's just like a lot to deal with at once. But here's just physics, and it gives me a lot of time to be able to like reflect and think back about how I'm growing here, like emotionally, intellectually, all that jazz. Yeah, and over the weekends, since we have exams every Friday at noon, that means like from Friday to Sunday when they release the readings for the next week, it's like completely no commitments. You can really enjoy your weekends, go travel if you want. They give us like 2 excursions, they're called, and they oh god, they basically provide coach buses for us to go like to places in Scotland, mostly in the Highlands. Like I went to Loch Ness and Glencoe where the Harry Potter bridge is. But yeah, I'm going to really miss this time of my life. I think it's come at a time when I finally like feel a lot more stable with who I am and like what I value and what makes me happy and what I want to do in the future. So having this time away from home, away from UCLA, to just like explore and learn physics has been really great for me. Yeah, I think that's about it, and I should probably pack and study. Bye. Bye.